just come in there and look for knockoffs, and that's not the case. I'm actually a sharp, smart fighter.
So, well, I'm here. Who want to fight with me?
I really don't care who's in front of me. I don't feel like no fighter can beat me.
Demolish everybody, to be honest. Everybody that's in my way. The pinnacle to any weight division is to have all the belts, all of the titles. Body work,
Welcome to Body Work. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Body Work Boxing. It feels so good to be back. Doing something different today. I do have some things I can go over as far as the curriculum. I can get back into that if need be. But for real, man, I seen my man Zeb. Zeb did a short video, man. And like 10 minutes into the video, man, I said, man, this dude, he sound like I be sounding, man. Like he's seeing exactly what I'm seeing, man. It's like today, man, boxing is so crazy, right? It's so crazy that, like, I think fans just want to fuss about boxing more so than get the big fights, man. Like, they don't, like, man, it's like at every opportunity, at every chance, at every angle you get, fans are coming up with ways, and they're arguing, they're bickering, and they're putting more energy into that than they are into actually getting the big fights. We see it all the time, man. I've been giving a lot of examples lately, but I heard the frustration. I heard the frustration, I heard the frustration, and I'm like, yeah, he be close. He get the boxers, he get the interviews, he's in there. He know, I'm guarantee you he know way more than me, because he's an insider. I guarantee you he know way more than me because he's an insider. And when I heard the frustration, I said, you know what? That's what we got to get behind. Those are the things we got to push. Cookie Monster. Body work. Salute, Cookie Monster. I appreciate that. Body work. But people like that and what's going on, man, we got to get behind that, man. You got to take credence to that, man. You got to take credence to the fact that you have people out here that are arguing that one of the champions needs to go fight somebody else instead of unifying the belts, putting up every roadblock. Sounding and looking good. I appreciate that, Cookie Monster. Thank you. Thanks for that mic check. I need that. You know what I'm saying? For real. But I'm like, I'm sitting back and I'm looking, and I've been talking about this. And I guess unless somebody want to come up here, I guess I'm going to let y'all be my shrink. I'm going to let the boxing fans, whoever can tune in. I'm here. I'm at the comments. Normally I'll go into the curriculum, but I wanted to get straight to the topic on today, because a lot of people are just they're just arguing. They're just fussing. They're just looking for ways to get in between things and insert themselves. Champion Sports Boxing in the building. Salute. Champion Sports Boxing. Good to see you. But we're in a time now where everybody's really pretty much, everybody just really want to insert themselves into boxing and boxing talk, man. Because the narrative changed so much. And in regards, let me go back, because I'm glad he spoke on. I'm glad he said something. Let me go back to what's going on right now with the Boots thing, right? Boots and Norman, right? And I give all credit where credit is due. he brought it up. I heard what he was saying earlier, but this is a topic that I've been on. So I feel like we need to get in there. Like, this is like when I was behind Supreme Matias, putting them stakes in the ground, pushing the envelope for all these things. I'm gonna get into that too. Today. But when I was looking at it, I was saying, okay, just not too long ago, I was just saying, I came out and I was doing a live, and I was like, I gave out let me see, because they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. I came out and I explained what was this push. What was this push for 154? And I told everybody. I was saying, this is the push. This push right here. Why was everybody just a couple weeks ago? Just a couple weeks ago. People were saying that man needed to go to 154, and I was saying, why now? And I explained in it. I said, listen, right now, people don't really want to recognize this, but if Devin Haney comes back and he goes back to where he should be fighting, which is 147, it would be a bad look for that man to come back and go to 147 and not fight Boots. Because what more building, what more stacking, what more do these guys got to really show at this point in time? Because whether you liked it or not, whether boxing shoved it down your throat, whether you were a fan of this one, whether you were a fan of that one, they got to where they are now. They are names in the game. And they about the same age. Names in the game, about the same age, the whole world talking. And guess what? They will be on the proverbial the same sides of the street. And let's just say one of them decide to side elsewhere, the other one will still have access to Sheik. So I was just like, this is the push. This is why they were trying to push Boots to 54, because if Devin came back, it was going to be a bad look. And Boots wasn't going nowhere. Why? Because he's established now at 47. Bud is saying they don't want to fight him, but I also said another push to 54 is because the Bud only fans actually need a reason as to why they can, because right now it's just they want, because Canelo. That's all he wants, Canelo or nothing. That's what he's saying. And so there is no pressure for him to do anything else, because his OnlyFans is just gonna say, look, he want Canelo. He done said and done everything he needed to do. He done crossed all his T's in boxing, and he dotted all his I's in boxing, and he done did ever, and he's the bestest ever and ever and ever. He did everything better than everybody, and given his history and all of this stuff. He has earned the right to not do anything else but fight Canelo. And I said his fans need a bookend. His fans need a bookend. His fans need somebody like Boots to be at 54 so they can bookend it. It's like, well, he want Canelo, but as long as he had that pressure of Boots wanting to fight him, they can always say he got option. I said that was the push for that. That's the hidden agenda for that. But the only fans, they've gotten real creative. Why? Because they're starting to develop this narrative where Boots should jump up past 154 and go to 160. Why? Because a lot of people are trying to justify the fight, because a lot of people saw that fight with Madrimov and they said, you know what, I don't even want to see Bud versus Canelo no more. And that spoke volumes. His OnlyFans are going to push for it. His OnlyFans said that he's daring to be great and he wants to do this, and Jermell Charlo did that, and they're giving it credence. But a lot of fans said, man, after that Madrimov stuff, man, I didn't want to see it. So there's no pressure, but people were starting to interject and saying, well, shoot, could he see somebody else at 68 before that? Better yet, could he see somebody at, can he see somebody at 60? So you see how it would fit right on in if Boots, according to one of his according for Boots, according to one of the Bud OnlyFans, who wants him to go up to 160, then that would solve a problem. Because that would bookend Bud. That would give him legitimacy because T.O. saying it and calling him from below, that's not enough. It's like, oh my gosh, why are you even bringing up his name? At first I was like, man, T.O. crazy. Then I said, well, you know what? Hold on. If I could condone Keyshawn chasing T.O. and T.O. chasing Bud and Bud chasing Canelo, I was like, why would I shun T.O. for saying it? Like, everybody saw how he goes up and down. I said, man, he'll probably get his ass waxed. He'll probably get his ass waxed. I said that. I said, but it's his right because, you know, if you're doing this whole, I could just say a bigger name and then chase a bigger name and then right when everybody's free. Everybody's free. Everybody's free, man. It's crickets, man. It's some moves being made. But I was saying at that point in time, I said, no, right now, the Boots is being denied by the Bud only fans who are easily triggered. They get highly frustrated when you point out certain things. And even though I'm not a Boots only fan, I'm a fan. Not an only fan of none of them. Just prefer some of them over others. So I'm sitting there looking at it and I said, no. I said, no, the way you solve this problem, Boots, is you stay at 47 and you lock it up. So how long have y'all been seeing this thumbnail? I was saying, no, this is D Block. It's no longer the Glamour division. Go back and check out when I rolled out the D Block and describe what was going on. Because people say it's the weak, it ain't the Glamour division no more. No, it's D Block. Meaning it ain't no, like, you go up any given match, any one of these matches right here, if you can mix and match any one of these, and these are the champions. These are the guys that got the belts. I was still trying to figure out why Bud was holding on the belts, but one of his OnlyFans told me why, because he was trying to use that belt to put pressure on 154. Some stuff like that. I'm like, look, man, you don't want to fight Boots, but then you holding on the straps when somebody can unify, and some of these moves ain't making sense, but ain't nobody saying nothing. I was saying, Boots, go ahead and lock up 47. And it's crazy because everybody want to fight Barrios now, but when Tank fought him, oh man, go ahead with that, man. All these caveats and all this. But everybody want to fight him. Devin Haney was rumored as wanting to grab him. You know, his name up there and talks with Pacquiao, all this other stuff. But when Tank fought him, he wasn't nothing. But I said, that's a name. Stan Giannis, he been standing in line. He actually fought some names. Butayev. He was supposed to get it on with Ortiz 3 times. Appendicitis the first time. The other 2 times rhabdomyolysis on the form of Virgil. So Virgil, because at a point in time, like over a year ago, I was putting out videos saying, Boots, go ahead and get a jump start. Go to 54. We already knew that, you know what I'm saying, he wasn't going to get that Bud. We already knew he wasn't going to get Bud or Earl more than likely. They were going to say, nah, they were going to cap you off. I was saying a year ago to move forward. But then I started looking at the Bud OnlyFans and how they were talking about. I said, nah, don't go to 54. Don't go to 54 unless you want to go fight the man at 54, which is Jermell Charlo. I'm sorry, but it's Jermell Charlo. You know what I'm saying? If anybody got a right to claim he didn't fight one time like Devin Haney and get undisputed, Jermell Charlo ran through 154, had adversity at 154, locked up all the belts, avenged all his losses, and stopped everybody. And when he pulled his Dare to Be Great and he moved up because he didn't come to fight that night, that's my guy. That wasn't, I don't condone any excuses. Canelo did what he was supposed to do, just like Bud did what he was supposed to do, regardless how Earl got in that ring. And that's the consistency in me. But I said, unless only reason why you should go to 54, Boots, is if you got Jermell Charlo. If it's gonna be you and Jermell Charlo. Otherwise, stay put, homie. Because they're gonna keep using that excuse as to who you fought and what name do you have and all this and this and that. Even though you're doing the common opponent thing, they're gonna keep using that. Stay put, lock up D Block. And I said, Brian Norman right there. T.O. was in talks to seeing that, man. So it was looking like Brian Norman almost had some options, but it was looking kind of weird how T.O. was acting. You know, I ain't hear that same energy. Like, it's been real respectful. Everything been real respectful. You notice how you ain't heard no disrespect? I haven't. But I was saying, look. I was saying, listen. Stay at 47 and lock it up. Do what you gotta do and lock it up so that when you, wherever you go, whatever name you attach to, because you can say tomato cans, you know, whatever kind of can it was. If you want to play that game, you can say whatever can it was, but out of 32 of them guys, 29 of them guys didn't make it. You know, when you got people with 11 fights and all them guys, you know what I'm saying? Same thing, doing common opponents, people who done suffered multiple losses before and all that, they're not getting stopped. So you can say what you want, but they're going to keep using that. Why? Because a lot of people are looking at them like high risk, low reward. And it's crazy how fans love to argue. They love to argue about all Boots' flaws. Argue them. I pointed them out after the Quran fight. I pointed them out then. Took a lot of backlash. That's when I said, you know what? I ain't gonna keep doing videos about Boots because he got OnlyFans and they go overboard. But I gave my fair share of criticisms on the Quran fight. No disrespect, just by the numbers, how I do it all the time. And caught a lot of backlash. So I said, you know what? For the channel and what I'm trying to do, it ain't worth it. It ain't worth talking about it. I'll just talk about it when he got the fights, analyze the fights, assess the fights, all of that. But it's real funny how they'll argue all about his flaws. But then when it comes to him getting ready to fight somebody, they get in the way. They will spend all day arguing with you about how Brian Norman Jr. shouldn't fight Boots. They'll argue all day about how Boots ain't fought nobody. Then when you break down what was going on in the sport, I'm gonna bring up the elephant in the room, which they get real quiet. Like they can't stand when I start bringing this up. The elephant in the room is Eddie Hearn and Matchroom and them, man. And we can sit up here and act like we don't see it. We can sit up here and act like Eddie Hearn, you gotta judge him in a vacuum. As far as promotion, getting your name up in lights, you doing this. If that's your goal, to be a star, have your name up in lights, and be doing whatever, like have, you know, notoriety and stuff like that, Eddie Hearn is good at that. We can see what he did with Devin. He's good at that. But when we look at the moves, which I've been on all of this time, when I asked the question, I was asking the question as far as making American boxing great again. And that in regards, that talks about our boxers. It's been the matchmaking, man. That's not like, it's funny how depending on who you like and who you don't like, because a lot of the Bud Only fans, they're gonna ride with whoever's opposed to the Boots right now. They're gonna do it. It's some crazy weird tribalism. People are not looking at the matchups and the breakdowns in regards to who you ride with, who you was best friends with, whose bunk you slept on, whose gym you took a piss in. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they don't in regards to that, looking at the sheer things of what these boxers have and with the skill sets and all that, they can't look at it in a vacuum, like all by itself, all by its lonesome. So they're pushing up against this Brian Norman fight, this Boots fight. And they're not considering that we've heard and seen about all of this low ball offer stuff when it came to Devin Haney. DHP, did we not? We even seen and heard about when T.O. was saying that, you know, he was trying to make a deal with Matias. And Matias, it was known because in the boxing world, it's crazy how these gyms be talking and they do this, but when somebody got a real legitimate injury, it's like don't nobody know shit. Don't nobody know nothing. Like when somebody got it, like when Matias had that bad hand and he was saying like he had a bad hand, but this was his plan to fight in 2 fights. Like when that whole thing went down and T.O. was involved, T.O. sent that man an offer when he said, listen, the hand is, I'm coming back from the hand, but this is what we want to do. I want to fight over here. It would have been a big fight. It would have been in Puerto Rico. Guess what T.O. said? No. T.O. moved on. He moved on. I mean, he had some fights after that. But people in the streets didn't know that Matias had a hand injury. But I remember when Subriel Matias got a fight, when he signed up. When Subriel Matias signed up over there, everybody was like, okay, cool, it's a 5-fight deal. It's a 5-fight deal. Who are they? We heard of Regis Prograis. I think of Richardson, Hitchens. Who else might have been on there? But it was nothing in concrete about Devin. Remember that? It was nothing concrete about Devin. I'm like, hold on. You got Sandor Martin floating in the air now because this is right after. This is okay. You got your strap. There was no talks about no Subriel Matias and no Devin Haney. When Subriel Matias first got there, that's when T.O. and them floated out the offer and skate. Nobody spent the block. Nobody did nothing. Leon Paro get his shot at Matias. Right? Like, where was the big fight for Matias other than Leon Paro? A defense. Like, it was no push for unification. And my concern at that point in time, as a guy that represented, I said, man, I don't want you to be one of them guys where all you do is just defend. I said it. So if Boots don't get Brian Norman, what it's gonna be? It's gonna be another defense, which is good. You defending your stuff. Okay, cool. You defending it. I said, man, if you get an opportunity, man, and another guy is willing, man, and there's word out there that he wants to unify, do it. It trumps everything else. Why not? Why not? It's ironic that Pero getting the opportunity to fight Devin right away. Bingo! This is why I wanted somebody else to bring this out. It's apparent. This is exactly what I was going. This is where I was going with it. This is exactly, you already know. That's why I said, man, listen. It's a different standard, man. It's different strokes for different folks, man. Because I remember, so now he wasn't nothing and he washed. I don't see nobody like, I don't see the same like Cordina. Cordina came off of a stoppage loss. Matias came off of a decision where he just got outworked. He got outworked. It was a lot of clinching. It was a lot of, you know what I'm saying? It was, I mean, and it wasn't a stoppage loss. But think about it. Shakur come over, he get special delivery. He get another fight with his second guy in a row coming off of a loss. This guy was a former champ, but he coming off of a stoppage loss. He get laid up to Shakur off the rip. Subriel Matias, he don't get who he get. He get Leon Paro. Leon Paro get the belt. I mean, I don't even know what's good with the rematch. Is it just like that? Like it was just like, okay, cool, no nothing. Like what? We don't even hear about no rematch. And then Devin come over and if it's true, Only reason why I can't really be mad. This is why. Facts. Champion Sports Boxing. Facts. Only reason why I really can't be mad is because it was like I'm not upset that Devin get a shot at Liam Paro. I'm not upset at that. Because that's way better than what his OnlyFans was trying to do. Boy, they was out here, man. I think I seen one dude picking, I seen the dude outside picking up some cotton. I think I seen somebody in the, where was I at? Might have been in Walmart. I seen some dude picking out some fabrics. They was trying to get him the softest of touches. But Liam Paro, he made everybody see and believe. I think that whenever I gave my assessment, I think I was pretty fair about Liam Paro when I gave my assessment about him. I didn't glaze, but I think I was pretty fair in my assessment leading up. But it's real wild that Subriel Matias is now perceived as being nothing, just like they're trying to do with Gary Antoine now. Now Gary Antoine is supposed to be, now he's a soft touch. I'm like, where was these guys? Like, where was these guys like for all of this, but to keep it all the way funky? His twin, salute body work, salute his twin. But I'm like, I'm looking at it and I'm in amazement, man. I'm in amazement. Champion Sports said Subriel, you said Matias' team dropped the ball. Yeah, I could say, I mean, it's some other thing. I wanted to talk about it, but I heard he's not with Panda, and it's a lot of things to where it's like, as a guy who I don't have access, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things, and I don't just be talking about boxing if I don't have no information. I haven't been seeing anything, hearing anything. I'm not an insider, so I don't know. But if I knew something, if I can get some things in concrete, then I would speak on it. I have my thoughts, but I'm looking at the landscape. And I would rather Devin, if I keep it in a vacuum and I say, all right, what's good for Devin's career, that would be a perfect move. If I'm looking at it from a Devin's fan, because his OnlyFans was saying he needed the softest of touches, he needed they was out here ordering all kind of cherries. I didn't even know it was that many kind of cherries in the world. Like, I didn't even know it was that many. Just like I learned the other day, I didn't even know it was that many variations of geese, and they're judged by their behavior. I'm like, go figure. So I had to share it with my neighbors. I had to. I'm just, so from Devin's standpoint, I like Paro. I like it. From Matias and them standpoint, and looking at what Eddie doing, and then looking at this situation with Boots and Brian Norman, where there is a history where, man, guys, and don't quote me, let's take Shane Mosley. Sugar Shane Mosley said, hey, man, typically when people send them kind of low ball offers like that, or whatever it is, they don't really want to fight. Now, he said that about two different fighters. He didn't say that. I'm not talking about the Boots situation. He said that he was talking about with that Devin and that Shakur situation. He said that. Shane Mosley said that, man. Don't talk to me. That's what he said. But there's a history, man. There's a history with, I pulled up the article the other day that when Chris Aldry was when Chris Aldry was up there talking, and in that article that I read, I pulled it up where he went over Andre's career and what happened with Andre. Andre didn't get no Triple G. Andre didn't get no Canelo. So Subriel Matias, he got Paro, but that was in the defense. Why he ain't get no shot at Devin? Man, you can allow it to happen to you, or you can grab the bull by the horns. You can grab the bull by the horns, and I know that these people, they have plans on being superstars. But I'm trying to tell you, man, the way boxing conversation is running boxing, man, all it takes is for one person. All it takes is for the right person to start the right narrative. And that is grass. That's where it's getting to now. The right one person start one narrative, and that and depending on your image and who won the appeal to what, because of politics, it's a wrap. That's why if you can, and while you can, cement the legacy. Cement the legacy. Because you know, because think about it, if you're going to get paid pretty much the same amount, and one, you might be able to be on a highlight reel, which might get you more publicity and get more views, or might, you know, increase your whatever, you can do that. Or you can fight in a unification, put something in the history books to where people can't just be swayed by what people were saying during that time. See, the game now is to get the trinket. If you get the belt or the trinket, and you get the title and you get the association or the accolade, now because you were able to do that, people can look back and point to the accolade. Even if that accolade is something like you fought one dude named Kambosos one time and got undisputed. And you will be judged and held up on the same playing field, according to these delusional ass fans, as somebody like Jermell Charlo who got undisputed, or somebody like Inoue who moved up for the unified champion, then for another unified champion in his 5th weight class, and did double undisputed back to back. See, those are accolades and trinkets that, you know, whenever somebody talk about it, they got to talk about that, not your indiscretions outside of the ring, but they can talk about that accolade and you'll have something. Because even if you got your belt emailed to you, and this is how I know the Bud Only fans, this is how I know that a lot of this narrative and this big push for this unification not to happen, is because it's going to take Boots and Brian to another level in that division, to where there's going to be more eyeballs and things are going to start shifting down there where it needs to be, where 147 can be back perceivably as to where it was, but the fights just have to happen. The fights just have to happen. But this is, I'm gonna tell y'all why. If you think that you think I'm pulling your tail or jerking your chain about something, let me go over this. James, body work, salute. But let me give you this example, right? Everybody was saying that, everybody was saying that Bud, he wanted Canelo, but when it came to the 154, they started this thing where people were starting to hold him out, or they was going to ice him out, they was going to do all of this or whatever, and that he wanted Tim Tszyu. He wanted Tim Tszyu. It was just, all we heard was Tim Tszyu this, Tim Tszyu that, this and this and that. And I was the only one saying, hold on, man. You do know that Boots and Tim Tszyu got their belts the same way. But it's funny how nobody say Tim Tszyu was the email champ. Nobody ever called Tim Tszyu the email champ. So I was like, you know, for people to get shamed because they wanted to see Boots versus Bud, just like people wanted to see Boots versus Earl before Bud, they wanted to see it. It was a lot of pressure on Earl. They were saying it was either Boots or Ugas when it came to Earl before the Bud fight. They said, no, if you either gonna fight Boots or you're gonna fight Ugas. And Ugas had the strap. Somebody else didn't want to go get it. Now when Ugas had it, say what you want, because somebody had to get that strap off of Ugas. Who went and got the strap off Ugas? At that point in time, the fans, all these fans that's out here now, they'll let you know. Because they were the same ones that was out here saying that that Earl needed to fight Ugas or Boots. I mean, facts is facts, man. I remember how it was, you know, but once Bud won, people started forgetting stuff that happened in history and started changing the narrative. And so I'm looking at it like this. Boots, you can still want to fight with Bud, but the best move is to go ahead and get this unification, man, and also start looking at these moves with Eddie, man. I mean, he gonna make you a star. You know what I'm saying? I say, go on, get your money, little duffel bag boy. I'm like, go on, get your money. Go get it. But at the same time, you gotta watch and understand the history of what's going on. Like this is starting to be a pattern, you guys. This is starting to be a pattern, you guys, where these guys from over there are coming over here, picking up our talent. I can show you. Ray Ford. He just got Shakur, Elmo Williams. Pick up the talent and either build and have and build up the fighters from over there, or finagle them around their titles and prevent them from big fights. Because everybody getting distracted and they looking like, oh, well, we getting this fight and we getting that fight, man. If it's rumored that we're getting the fights, the alternative fights that they're saying we're going to get, if Brian Norman and Boots don't come together and do this thing, if that don't happen, then it's going to be another big fight that might not happen, man, because I don't care what people are saying. People can act like they want, they can act like they don't know. But 47, and there's no deficit of people that were waiting. People act like people sit around. They act like Earl Spence and Bud and what they had going on didn't have that division on lock. There was a lot of people in that division just bubbling and maintaining. I was trying to say that, listen, if this conversation was if we just took out Boots and we just put in Montes Stanionis in there. If we took him out and put him in there, then we would be talking about some of the same things. Montes Stanionis, he took step aside money. Virgil Ortiz was down there. He would, before he moved up at 54, if we just stopped and looked at it, Virgil Ortiz was down there trying to do things, doing common opponents and making a name and trying to get it on. Boots wasn't the only one down there fighting and rumbling and waiting for things to clear out. I ain't saying waiting, but you know what I'm saying? They had to, because the top dogs were the top dogs and the top names were only trying to fight the top names up there. It wasn't trying to fight the young guns. Rightfully so, because they were trying to settle Undisputed. Once Undisputed got done, it just, you know, everything shattered and they act like 47 didn't exist. Like people at 47 can't box. Like the competition wasn't stiff. Like I dare y'all get some of y'all get in there with Butayev. Get in there with Gabriel Maestre. Everybody thought, especially for him being out here. I know I was starting to like, I was revving up like, okay, you know what I'm saying? I was looking at Trayvon Sniper Marshall. I was looking at that. Everybody, he was out here like he was actually out here, the sniper. He was out here actually sniping. Ran up on Gabriel Maestre, ran up on him, caught him cold. There's always competitive. 147 ain't changed, man. Just everybody's trying to sway this narrative. And I think that a lot of times all they really want to do is just argue and fuss about boxing. They want to argue and fuss to where you agree that everything that they said happened when you know it didn't. It's like whatever your version of history is, that is that. I'm talking about this fight, man. I'm talking about them getting in the ring and doing their thing, man. I'm talking about the matchup, man. I'm talking about, look, have we ever seen him fight a guy that he didn't have all the advantages? That kind of stuff. Oh, man, here you go. No, like that, because they would rather argue and fuss and fight about the politics, the history, whether or not you agree with everything they said about their fighter in the past, other than what's at hand, and that's the fight. The division ain't going nowhere. And it's a lot of guys that might have been thinking about going to 54, but they prairie dogging it. They like, you got Conwell out there. That dude is a little, man, he like a little action figure, man, that goes to the body, man. Explosive, dangerous, like man, like he looking like you don't on any given night. On any given night. So it's a lot of people at 47 that because of stature, because of size, they could be up there, but because it might just be somebody who you might say or classify, depending on who you listening to, a B-level fighter. Or in Ryan's case, like Devin said, a C-level fighter, and you get in there and he whoop your ass. That's going on at 47. You went in there, ain't nobody, look, with all this talk, ain't nobody just, look at this. Ain't nobody just running up just saying Giannis' name. Everybody want Barrios. Everybody want Barrios. Ain't that odd? Everybody want Barrios. Ain't nobody just up here just calling out Stan Giannis like that. So, I think, when we start listening to people who paint narratives for a living and we tend to follow those paths and we, you know what I'm saying, you're going to end up like Devin on your ass bag, man. I'm telling you, man, you gotta juice your noodle, man. Start thinking and looking at these things. Stop getting in the way of these fights. I'm like, sometimes I'll be like, man, what are we talking about? I go places and I'm like, what the fuck are we talking about, man? What are we talking about? We talking about trying to get the fight? Like, well, why? I mean, people want to argue about the dumbest shit, and they'll sit around for hours and talk about it. Oh no, because this and no, listen, man, listen. And then it gets into you and how you feel. Then y'all be talking about Michael Jordan and LeBron and shit. I'd be like, damn, man. Like, can Brian Norman and Boots get it on? Do you have your eyeballs on Eddie? Are you seeing what Eddie is doing? Did you see what he did to Subriel Matiz? Did you see what he did to Andre? What's the status of Ray Ford? We see what Shakur doing. He got shit. He got Cordina, man. He got. Don't take it from me. They said this guy was tailor-made. I didn't say this. You can find your favorite content creator saying this, whoever he is. This guy is tailor-made for Shakur. Don't nobody say nothing. You know what they start saying? Well, who Tank gonna fight next? I'm like, man, y'all crazy. So y'all ain't got nothing to say. Y'all ain't gonna break down the matchup. You don't even got people breaking down the matchup. Why? Because they don't even care. They just want to argue about boxing without talking about boxing. The link is out there, man. Why ain't nobody click it? Because there's a whole lot of gaslight. I got gaslit the other day, man. This dude, I asked this dude, so the mission was who Boots gonna fight next? So I'm thinking in my head, okay, who are you gonna fight next? We were pushing for the Brian Norman, so people. Okay, if he can't get this fight, who should it be? So we scouring down through the thing. I'm scouring down through the whole, looking at the rankings, and I'm just checking, dotting my I's, because sometimes they don't update. So I'm crossing my T's and dotting my I's. I'm looking for names that might mean something. Well, Maestre, he just lost to Stan Giannis in a tough fight. It was a decision fight, but he's a name. He's a name who had names. There's some other guys that's popping up and coming up, and then I said Green Machine. Why? Because he would be a common opponent. Once again, it would still be in the same vein because that's what they're doing. See, when you like a fighter, you will figure out, oh man, well, shoot, he shared the ring. Look at what he did to him. But then when you talking about somebody you don't like, oh man, there you go with that triangle theory stuff. They'll flip it on you real quick. Like, no, it's common opponent. So I bring those up and I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. Like, where we going with this conversation? So this man got to going in on Boots. He got to going in on Boots. I was like, hold on, man. Like, I'm trying to figure out. I thought we were just talking about who we gonna fight next. You just, you sound like you frustrated about, people actually giving them some props. Like, actually, people, he's starting to, get some glow on them, and you sound like you frustrated that people are actually getting some glow. He tried to say I called him emotional, and I'm like, yeah, but when you trigger, man, your senses don't even work. Like, your ears don't even work right. So I was trying to figure out where we was going with it, and I was naming names, and then I realized it. I realized what it was, man. The purpose was not to actually figure out who Boots was going to fight next. It was a sausage party. It was a sausage party. Like, this is what we're getting. Sausage party boxing talks, man. That's what we're getting nowadays, man. So if you're not out there with them knee pads on, if you ain't spraying that throat coat, if you ain't ready to, you know what I'm saying, you ain't ready to get down, don't even join, man. Stay on the sidelines. And if you're making too much sense in the comments, they just gonna ignore you. Go figure. Fans just want to argue about the dumbest shit. They'll argue about their points and their feelings and all that. I'm like, man, it sounds like you might need to go sit in somebody's chair. I reckon I might need to go sit in somebody's chair. I might, but I'm not. This is not why I come online. I come online to talk that boxing. This is not me sitting in somebody's chair. This is actually me, expressing what's going on in boxing, like connecting some dots, saying some stuff that people ain't really like too happy to say. Why? Because it might not get you in good graces or favor with a lot of people, but it's the truth. It's just like, I don't know why people be like, they love bringing up things and talking right when they be saying stuff like, even when it come down to like the law, like I used to tell my son, I guess I give this example. If you're doing what you're supposed to do, realistically, can't nobody really or shouldn't really be having to tell you what to do. Right? But if you're not, then you got to deal with the consequences. How well are you able to disguise that? I mean, that's on you. Some of us just want to see the fights. Some of us, though, I don't want to sit around and have a sausage party. If we're going to talk about something, let's be objective. And we got to start this whole ping pong promotion, like where you got to have an adversary and you got to be pitted against. No, it's good to have alternative opinions. But when you creating drama, a lot of times, man, we've seen now that it don't lead to the big fights. You name me one time where that has led to some big fights. Name me one time. Where we was able to sit around and talk, incite somebody to say some crazy stuff, and then we got that big fight. Why? Because a lot of us have more sense than that. We know that there's a business to boxing, but we pick and choose when we want to acknowledge that it's a business in boxing. Like right now, they getting ready. Let's say Tank decide he going to fight Ryu at 140. Let's just say because I mean, let's look at it. Now let's say Tank say he gonna fight the guy on the far right. Let's just say he do that. They gonna crucify the man. Or try to. When he would be going back up. And when everybody was saying, all the people that were saying Isaac Pitbull Cruz was the man and he was this and this and that, where all of those people at? Because those same people will have to acknowledge that if Ryu won and he go up there and beat him by the standards of this accolade stuff, this accolade stuff that everybody be hinged on, by the standard of this accolade stuff, you wouldn't be able to say shit really to Tank if he went up there and grabbed Ryu according to your the accolade games. Most of us have our ideas of what would happen. I know Tank fans do. People who know Ryu, know that, he'll hang in there for a little while. But you have to be really disciplined. And some of those hiccups he made with Isaac, man, you can't make them with Tank. But by accolade, so I said, well, if Shakur's off the table, and I was asking, I said, I had asked this a long time ago, because this checks all the blocks. I said, why not? This checks all the blocks right now. This checks all of the blocks. All of them. Why not? T.O. done said a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? He got legacy. T.O. got legacy. Tank got legacy in my opinion, but according to the fans, man, and their weird, crazy logic, Tank just got money. He don't got no legacy. I'm like, okay, let's go with your story then, if that works. We'll go with your story, but let's talk about this fight. And I'm saying, let's get this on. But it's crickets. It's crickets. If Loma say I want to stay with the children and the kids, then we see him out at Riyadh season, popping his collar with Shakur and all that, like it was coordinated, it was orchestrated. And then Shakur say, I don't want no multi-fight deal. Is Tank gonna keep me away from the belts? And then he go sign over there with Eddie Hearn and them. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, who should Tank fight? Why not? I got Bob Arum on wax. I got Bob Arum on wax saying a while ago, because he knows that as it stands, man, T.O., he got some fans and he bring them out, but he's not quite the draw he's not quite that draw. He just got, he earned his salary. I think he probably deserved more based on the accolade game. If he had the right suits behind him and was moving right, man, if he had the same people that was moving and helping Devin, ain't no telling how much money, T.O. will have, but that's another story. Why not? It makes sense to me. If you're gonna go up there, because I don't got time to be arguing with no dumbass fans as to why Tank didn't fight. Let me see. Let's go down the line. I don't got no time to argue. If Tank, any one of these guys at 40 at this point, if Tank went up and fought any one of them guys, I ain't got time to argue about if you're gonna try to argue why he didn't fight T.O. instead of Ryu, or why he didn't fight Ryu instead of T.O., or why he ain't fight Paro instead of T.O., or why he ain't fight Puello instead of T.O. Like, if you're gonna have them, I ain't got time, man. I don't know. And anybody out there need an answer to that question, just tell the people you don't know. You don't know. Because at that point in time, they're not really interested in seeing that fight. They just want to argue with you about some dumb shit. That's it. This is the Cold War. This is what should be happening. You know what I'm saying? Don't get it twisted, but we already know what happened, man. We had already came to a conclusion on that, man. The lab test was confirmed. You know what I'm saying? That's what that was, man. So at this point, man, like trying to look under the, cause they'll do it under the guise as who should this person fight next, but they don't really want to figure that out. They don't really want to figure that out. They just want to get you around. They want to have you around, and they're gonna try to, you know, they're gonna try to have you engage in the sausage party. Once you figure that out, you should leave. You're no longer you're no longer trying to get a fight. That's not what you're doing. You're just trying to argue about some dumb shit to either get in the way of a fight or to justify some shit that your favorite fighter about to do that you really don't have no justification for. So you need to really be sloppy. That's it. Melazar Kansai Bar. What's up, G? What's going on, Melazar? What's happening, man? That's it, man. That's it. That's it. So, you know, a lot of people come on here, man. What's up, Familia? Yes, sir. All right, man. Good to see you back. Good to see you back, man. But it's interesting to me, man. What's going on? I'd be appalled, man. I'm like, man, it's I don't know, man. When you stick to facts, you know what I'm saying? You have objectives. You know, if you're gonna consume your day with boxing all day, you could be either A, looking at fights, analyzing fights, talking about fights, doing your research, looking up these guys' rankings, looking up some box rec, but everybody gets spoon-fed a lot of the times. You get spoon-fed by who you like and your favorite content creator, and you tend to, if you're getting spoon-fed a bunch of fast food, a bunch of refried beans, a bunch of microwave shit, you're gonna have a tummy ache. You're gonna have a tummy ache. That's when you need to come on over to Body Work for them fruits and veggies. Not that Reggie. You know what I'm saying? Not that Reggie, man. It's good to see some of my people in the building, man. I feel like old times. But I don't know. Do I need to go? The link is out there, man. Somebody got something they want to say, man. He said, what we got this weekend. Man, I gotta defer, man. And you'll understand, Melazar, man. You'll understand, man. You'll understand. Some things I got to do. Some things I got to say and do and talk about, man, at a right time, man. Because it's a lot of people that be they be coming in with their rucksack. You know what I'm saying? They be coming in with their rucksack, Melazar, man. What you been up to though, Melazar? I ain't heard you in a while. I ain't seen you in a minute. I'm being very busy working. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool, man. That's cool. You just gotta be cautious out here, man. You gotta keep your head head on the swivel, Mailers, man. I'm just trying to do my thing, man. I thought maybe somebody would want to express themselves, man. I thought somebody might want to express themselves, man. I hope this fight go through. And I know there's a time when everybody was doing the workouts, but I just wanted I really wanted I want to let my man know I feel his pain, man, because I'll be feeling the same way, man. I feel his pain, man. I feel the same way. I understand the frustrations, man. I understand, man. You know, what fights do you want to see, man? There's so many fights. Just money ain't a thing. We got Turkey Bag Sheik that he gonna come put something on it. You know. Shoot, we can have whatever fight we want according to what they saying, but I mean the track record is saying something different. The track record is saying something different. That's D Block. That's the row. These are champs at 135. This is what should be happening, but I guess everybody's telling us. I mean, because then you'll have the sophisticated people that say, now listen now, you know, that fight's gonna happen in time. That fight is gonna happen in time. Trust me, listen. When these two guys are ready and when it all makes business sense and when, you know, everything has been hashed out, that fight's going to happen. That fight's going to happen. And you'd be like, okay. And then you hear the fighter come out and say some crazy, you know what I'm saying? Then you know, that's all people want to talk about at that point. Who's lying and why? I just be wanting to fight. Let me try to fix this thing. I just be wanting to fight. Let's stop getting in the way of them, man. I even be wanting to have some even matchmaking, like I'm talking about as far as the fans, cause shit, you know damn well we ain't got no say in no matchmaking, man. They got people that get paid for actually matchmaking. I'm talking about if you're gonna be matchmaking online, like if you're gonna be a fan, one of them fans that's always matchmaking, right? Let's be fair in our matchmaking. Does it seem like the standard for your fighter and how you matchmake for your fighter versus how hard you go for other, and how nosy and how detailed, especially when it comes to some drama or some messiness, like EBT card boxing, man. When it comes to some messiness, man, he be so specific in his details. But when it comes to something that you know what I'm saying, sugar, Silk Sheets, when it comes down to something that Silk Sheets got to say, or how he moving, oh man, oh I didn't see that. Oh no, I wasn't. That's gaslighting, man. That's gaslighting. You know, I'm like, okay, cool. I'll be trying to rock with a lot of people in their takes, man, but it's starting to get redundant, and you know where it's coming from, and you know that it's all an agenda. And then some of them, they just want to be down like Brandy, man. They willing to do something strange for some change, man. I'm telling you, I can see it. They seeping with it. I can see it coming off of them. You know how it's almost like how Rick James said about the aura and all that. And it's also like how a dog can smell fear. Like, I can see when somebody about ready to do something strange for a little piece of change, man. That's not becoming. Have some decency, man. You're not going to go that far. Why? Because you're not going to be willing to go that far. So you're not going to go that far. With a double entendre. Rah. Like, let's be fair in our matchmaking. Let's be consistent in our matchmaking. Let's put the boxers on the same scale and use the same critical judgment that we do. Because if not, man, you just having a sausage party, man. I'm trying to eradicate sausage party boxing talk. You know, because if you would talk like that online, imagine what you would do at a parade. Yikes. Like, if you would talk and do some of the things you say and do and how you act like that, if you would do that online with some people you don't know, over a guy that probably wouldn't piss on you if you was on fire, what would you do at a parade? I don't know, man. I'd rather just talk about boxing, man. You ain't gotta agree. You can agree to disagree. You can have your own account of history. I'm just trying to see these young brothers put on a set of gloves and get in the ring. That's it. Well, we gotta start watching Eddie, man. We gotta start like this common thing, because now it's starting to be across boxers. This low ball offer stuff, we heard that with Devin. We starting to hear it a lot with Boots. Because I knew part of the kickback to a conversation I was having the other day, where it might have seemed like I was defending Boots. It's like, no, I was trying to take the conversation to where it needed to go with the objective, which was finding him an opponent if this fight don't go down. And in the process, I brought up that Bozy has said at one point in time, 16, like he got 16 no's. Now that might seem like it was preposterous, but you gotta think, I think that was before the Spence fight. Spence Bud. And then I got to thinking, I said, you know what? I got to thinking about what Shane Mosley said. And there are times where we've heard that when you send too low of an offer, that means you really don't want to do business. It's just like if I see somebody at the gas station, right? And I know I don't do side work. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's too much liability. People lie. They do all kind of stuff. If I say I don't want to do it, and you know that I do this for a living, and you proceed to ask me to do some work, and I say, all right, well, what you want me to do? And I'm gonna give you an outrageous price. What that mean? I don't want no work. We know, we understand this on, and we understand this out on the streets, like in our real time. So if I bump into you at the gas station, you see me in the work van, you know I do AC, heating, cooling, all that. You ask me, hey, you do such and such? You do this and that? Yeah, I do. Why? What's up? Oh, because I need you to check this furnace. I need you to, and I give you an outrageous amount, like an outrageous quote. What'd that tell you? I don't want no work. When it started happening over and over again, and it's happening amongst different boxers are saying, oh yeah, this and this and that. Now he can promote and you will get a bag. But as far as that's where the matchmaking in the gloves, the kid gloves and all that get put on you, and you don't even realize it, or you're getting match made, and when you look at the sum of it, people over here don't recognize and appreciate it because you're being match made according to those over there. You hit the nail with the Andre situation with Eddie. I appreciate that, champ. But yeah, that's why I wanted to bring. That's why I had that article, you know, because when I say it, it's just little old me. It's just little old me when I say it, but it'll take somebody like Chris Algieri to say it. It'll take somebody like Chris Algieri to say it before it means something. But Andre, he ain't the only example though, y'all. And if you look at how some of these other guys are being moved, what has changed? What has changed? And people be wanting, look. People be wanting you to give them examples, right? Look at this. Look at this. Let me show y'all something. Man, I don't know what's taking so long. All right, let me do it this way. Mess with that. And that's not where I wanted to go. I was trying to reach out to Andre at one point in time. This was This was a minute ago though. He shared one of my things. It's me again when he was, you know, just hyping them or whatever. And so I'm like, okay, cool. He saw that. He just, I was like, well, I understand, man. You got to keep your circle tight because a lot of people think when you trying to interview them, you're gonna be messy like everybody else. Nah, I just think that sometimes, man, when you got some of the loudest voices misrepresenting you on the YouTube, you need an alternative. You need somebody else asking you questions and getting a different perspective on you without pitting you up against somebody else or just creating drama, man. I'm telling you, that shit get people hurt. That shit get people hurt. You got David. Look at this. That's what they're saying. This fight, what was this? Manchester. Jason Quigley. Liam Williams. And Luke Killer. Like, where was the Triple G? Where was the Canelo? $159, $159, $160. Demond Nichols, $167. 167 and a half. I had one fight at 167 and weighed in at 167 and a half against David. Never got no Triple G or no Canelo. You know. But I don't really want to. I don't want to turn this into a I don't want this to be viewed as though I'm bashing Eddie. I'm just saying we gotta look at what's going on, man. Like you know, because you could rock with somebody, and you know, when you look back at some things, you know, like just like in life, sometimes you look back at some things and you be like thinking about a period in time, but you didn't look at it all. Like you didn't look at everything that was going on. But since you had some time removed and your brain is settled down, you look back and you be like, oh, okay, cool. Well, I wasn't thinking about it like this, wasn't looking at it like that. That's what you need to do in real time right now, because Andre, man, it's crazy. He 32-1 too. That's Andre, man. Olympic pedigree. A lot of people still think that Andre nice. Like, he is nice. Southpaw. Like, he ain't just running up on Andre, man. But this is a fact that this happened under that regime. It might be different, but we're the making up for it. Now we hear about Shakur, he gonna get Cordana, and we saw that Matias, he got Paro, and Ammo got Hamza Shiraz, and Bray Ford got Nick Ball. I don't know, man. I might just be too good at keeping score, man. That might be what it is, man. I think I keep score just a little bit too well, man. But this is the example, man. You want to be this guy where he didn't get the big ones. You know, he didn't get the big ones. Because that was for the WBO World. WBO World. Where was it, man? Like the unis with the unifications, the big fights, the yada yada. It was all this praise, all this big splash. It was this and this and that. You know that it didn't happen. Subriel Matias already got relieved of his strap, homie. Shoot, Devin. You know, I mean, he messed around with Oscar and them, man, and he decided not to unify. He went against the grain and decided not to unify and tried to trace a bag and ended up on his ass bag, man. But these are the times, man. Let's not get in front of this fight, man. Hopefully we'll see something. Hopefully we're going to get something. And you know, this guy, the guy on the left and Brian Norman Jr. Hopefully we get it. And we shouldn't be having no conversations about how one of them don't deserve and don't this and that. I'm like, neither one of them are head and shoulders above the other one. Neither one of them. You know what I'm saying? Neither one of them are head and shoulders above the other one. One of them, you know, got all the bells and the whistles. The other one just, you know, he looked like a rough, rugged customer. But I'm like, man, that's the day. Like, I don't know, man. When you fighting, I know, like for me, the guys that don't like when people don't mind getting hit, those be the ones that's be the more dangerous. Cause that mean, okay, I'm a do what I can, but if you touch me, you touch me, but I'm gonna touch you. Those are the most dangerous guys to fight, man. I ain't gonna say all this, you know. I'm saying, yeah, you gotta be defensively responsible, but when you in there with a guy who don't mind, you know what I'm saying, getting hit, you have to deal with him. You got to deal with him. You know, I hope we get this fight. You know, and maybe it's my own selfishness to prove everybody wrong because a lot of politics get in the way of boxing. If everybody if Boots would have been listening to y'all, he'd have jumped up to 154. Bud was never going to fight him. I don't care if he stayed in this line and he didn't move out this way and he didn't do that. Bud was never going to fight him. He was never going to fight him. People don't even realize that Sean Porter was, you know, that thing went to the midnight hour. He didn't want to fight Sean. And they were saying that Earl was using Sean like all kind of stuff, man. A recon. They go figure out something. But you can go to 54, man, like everybody's saying right now, and I think it'll be a little bit premature. Lock up 47. Lock it up. And then you'll have some of that accolade salad that everybody like to pull out whenever they need to. What accolades do you got? And who got more accolades? I'm like, I've never heard fighters and fans, like I've never, like, it's the strangest shit in the world to me. And then they don't even be knowing what they talking about. Devin performance was worse than Matias. He was put on his ass multiple times, and Matias can't get the rematch. That's facts. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the real Matias fight, man. There was a lot of people that was saying, "Oh man, you know they robbed." I said, "No, you can't say that." But it was a lot of grabbing. It was a lot of clinching. And it came down to Liam Powell just getting outworked. And Subriel, I mean, you know, Subriel don't fight like that. That's not an excuse. That's not an excuse. Liam Powell won it. You know what I'm saying? Like I had him winning it. I did a video with Eddie. When they said it wasn't even close. Like it wasn't, like, to me, it wasn't really as far as scoring, but it wasn't like he just did him bad. Like, no, man, like that fight went to the scorecards. It was a flat performance. Liam Powell did his work. He rightfully got his title and moved on. Like, I don't even understand why. Normally when it's like that, when it's even that like close like that, I mean, when it's like the kind of fight they had, and that was the champion, you would get a chance to get your belt back. Like, that could be your trilogy right there. So, but Devin come right off the, they were saying right off the couch, right off the couch. So Devin could come right off the couch and get a fight with Liam Powell straight away for the belt. And everybody, all his people get to say, no, Sandor, he don't got to see Sandor. But Sandor took some step aside, so he stepped aside. So I guess now when you take step aside money, I guess you took step aside. So you stepped aside. Ain't no guarantee you're gonna be able to step inside again. You know what I'm saying? Because ain't nobody beating down people. You can say what you want about that dude, Alberto Puello. Because I hear a lot of people painting these narratives about that. That dude is actually he's skilled, man. I was fair in my assessment about that when I broke down that fight between him and Gary Antoine. Very fair. And the dude is skilled. Ain't nobody beating down his door to go fight that. That dude is actually, he's skilled, and he knows how to use his feet are great. He knows how to use his range. He's a southpaw. Like, he can, you know, he's better than when a lot of people giving on, man. Like, so a lot of these guys out there that people are just trying to paint narratives with because their favorite fighter are scared of them, won't get in the ring with them or whatever. Man, you gotta be responsible when you talk about these guys, man. You gotta be responsible, man, because you look real hypocritical when your favorite fighter go in there with these guys after talking all that stuff, and then these guys wax their ass, and then you want some tribalism stuff, so you gonna make all kind of excuses or stay on code with whatever the excuse was. That it don't make sense. Exactly. Matias could have went to Australia. Yeah, why not? But is Liam Powell telling us something? Is Liam Powell saying, listen, I can handle this guy. I'm gonna let Subriel get his back. Like, listen, let me handle Devin. You know what I'm saying? If you want to get your feet wet, and then I'll let you. Is Liam Powell saying that Devin easy work? Is Liam Powell saying Devin easy work? Like, hey, yeah, I just got this strap. I'm gonna put it up against you. I can't believe they lost the same day. I can't believe it. I can't believe the two boogeymen. And they trying to say they were never boogeyman. I'm like, man, the one guy actually sent one up, and the other guy who was beating the other guy, I got a whole videos of where Devin, about him and Devin seeing Gary, and and Gary saying, well, when you get to 140, come see me. I got videos of that, and they act like they don't even know each other. But they say, yeah, somebody like Gary Antoine don't offer anything. I mean, he was undefeated. And Puello, you know what I'm saying? Puello took that. So undefeated means something when it's according to, because I remember this is the other thing. I remember Shakur saying he would move up and go see Pitbull. So I'm like, if you would go up and see Pitbull, if we pause right there, and if you would go up and see Pitbull, then if Ryo beat Pitbull, why wouldn't you see Ryu? Or we could legitimize that you could go see Ryu, but you would go up to 140 for Pitbull. But what was the energy with Subriel? He wanted to go sparring with him. He wanted to go spar with him, but he didn't want to move up and go do that. But it's okay for a guy coming off a knockout loss, losing this strap, to move up and fight him. Eddie didn't do Subriel like that. He wasn't catered to in that manner. He signed for 5 fights, and I'm like, well, who are you gonna get to fight him? We was here doing the legwork. We was trying to find it, and they turned the narrative after the loss, just like everything else. They turned the narrative after the loss to where he wasn't no boogeyman, and he wasn't this, and he wasn't that. I'm like, well, people wasn't running up, ringing this doorbell trying to fight him. Nobody wasn't beating their chest talking about where's Subriel at. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You ain't hear none of that. But the people that paint the narratives and push this and that, you know what I'm saying, they'll get you off. That's not the history of that. What's good, Smoke? What's going on? Can we stop getting in the way of these fights with our conversations? Can we be more progressive in where we're going? Gary is still dangerous. Of course he is, and he's probably going to be. Listen, man. I know that man is like, I know he's chomping at the bit, wanting to, redeem the performance, or just get the smudge off, but. He's real in that. I know he understands that it comes along with the territory in the game, and I would think that the kind of character he has, he would be saying to himself like, yeah, it is what it is. I just got to get that. I got to get back. So whether or not they're going to do the rematch or how they're going to handle it, I think they should. That might be a good trilogy. But it's not like that. It's not like Gary. It's not like Gary wasn't tested and challenged along the way. This is right up the alley. Like when you look at some of them fights, yeah, he got all his stoppages, but he wasn't just fighting cans. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't just fighting cans. He was toppling cats. He was in there. You know what I'm saying? I call him the butcher. He was in there pressing. You know what I'm saying? He was running up on people. Putting that pressure, applying that pressure. And he got some awkward guys. He got some guys that, presented some challenges. I think it's the longer, rangier guys. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I've been seeing. Because Postar was like last minute. Bartholomew, he long and rangy, but he's real awkward. This guy, Puello, he's tall and rangy. But guys are not beating down, they not beating the drum trying to go fight guys like Puello. And then I said it because I've been watching and looking. If you go back and look at him and what's his name? Akhmadov. And then go look at Akhmadov, man, them guys, like, it ain't no easy outs, man. Between you can be thinking that this is a game and that these divisions are sweet because your favorite content creator ain't talking about them and saying that he can jump over walls and run through fleets and he can fly and all this other stuff if you want to. But there are some people out here that they don't have a name. They don't have nobody pushing them. They don't have nobody taking no kind of special interest in them to get them out there. Why? Because it ain't nothing attached to it. They don't get no credit if they, if them guys, what I'm saying, are interviewed or talked about. They don't get no shine. They don't get no glory. There ain't no vested interest. You know what I'm saying? But there are some guys out here, aside from the big names, that's doing work. 47 is dangerous. 40 is dangerous. 35 got a whole list of assassins, and because it's a right now. And this is what I want to talk about. This is what I want to talk about. This guy Floyd Schofield, man. Him and his pops, and see, they was trying to do the same thing with Brian Norman and his pops too. It's a lot of people, man, using that whole these fathers are toxic, right? See, because this would have happened, right? They invite you on. That's what these guys are doing. These guys will invite you on, and then start some shit, like get some kind, evoke some kind of, some kind of spicy talk from you. And then when you start getting spicy, then they get disrespectful with you. And, I think Bill did a job in it, but they're trying to say that these guys are more toxic than Bill. I'm like, no, they're not. No, they're not. They're not. If you want to look at it, like if everything that Bill was doing was under the guise of promotion, all these guys are doing what they're doing under the guise of promotion. But you'll get ex-boxers, people who interview, and then a coach together going at Schofield father. Like, that shit didn't make sense to me. It didn't make no sense to me. None. And then they call him Papa Sassy Schofield and all this. He's promoting his son. And if it was just promotion when Devin and them was doing it, it's just promotion when Brian Norman Sr. doing it, and he's getting frustrated because y'all know how snaky and how dirty this game is, man. You know how they be out here lying, and somebody will paint a narrative or look you in your face, talk to you on the phone. They might have just emailed you or chatted with you, look you in your face, talk to you on the phone, and then snake you on the internet. So when these guys are the guys that these are their sons too. Just like Bill was just like the excuse. People used to tell me all the time, he just being passionate about his son. These guys ain't doing nothing egregious like passing out mug shots and this and this and that. They're promoting their sons. But because we have all these different sects and cults and basically sausage party, boxing talks, Haven, you know what I'm saying? We get a lot of those. You'll have these guys starting this stuff with these fathers, eliciting certain responses, and then using that because that's considered new material. It's appealing. Like, people are gonna laugh. It don't, they're just promoting their sons. But what I really think, I think the mindset that Floyd got, man, I think people see some of the flaws and things like that. But Floyd is like, listen, I ain't saying I'm perfect. Come capitalize it. Come show me that you can capitalize on that flaw. And for the young fighters, that's the throwback. See now when it's a fighter with some true throwback, like that real throwback energy, where they really want to get it on, and they like, look, I'm gonna lose. He's like, look, I got cut. Like, he ain't been cut yet. Like, when you got that kind of guy who don't mind, getting touched, and they coming and they know they got flaws, but they're inviting you to expose it. People are now shifting everything onto the fathers now. Like, oh man, it's the father, man. It's just, it's just the father. I know, because I looked at it and I was trying to look at, like, I didn't like a lot of things that used to happen with DHP and all that, and I recognized Devin for what he really was. Called it out in real time and held firm to what I thought he was. I gave him credit for the Loma. I gave him credit for the Regis. did that, but I knew what he was the whole time, and I just said, man, the father make it toxic. This image make it toxic. People in boxing around these conversations are making it topic, thinking that because a lot of people saw it, that it's promoting the sport. Like it's promoting, but when people start going out, like when you have trigger fans, when you have these dumbass clans that go out to these fights or whatever, and they done started some shit online, when they actually go out here to these real venues and have to go to these stadiums and do all this and that, that's how problems happen. That's how things get started. And at the end of the day, when people make it toxic and make it about the father, it's like, man, it's a reason why they don't want to fight Floyd. It's a reason why it's this big pushback for this B. Norman. Why? Because win, lose, or draw, B. Norman is going to go on. Boots is going to go on. Win, lose, or draw, they're going to be all right. They still relatively young for what, you know, as far as they still relatively young, especially B. Norman. Like, regardless, win, lose, or draw, they both gonna be all right. They're gonna be straight. Let's not get in the way of this fight. We should be pushing forward. We should be saying, nah, man, no, this is what we want. We want to see this. We want to get behind it, not be an obstacle. I'm just curious. I am curious as to if we can get, since this the Cold War, the lab test been confirmed. Why not? Why not? This meets everything, man. These guys, as far as height and, you know what I'm saying, as far as size, they're not that far off. T.O. might be a little taller, but in the grand scheme of things, they about this, they around the same height. Ain't too much difference there. That's legacy, that's money, that's the bag, that's a big fight. That's, you know what I'm saying, they, you know, I think both of them are one of ones in their own little way. Both of them are one of ones, but that's two of them guys. Why can't that happen? Why is this not being talked about? Because it's real crazy how when the man on the left, when he be free, I mean, unless it's something out there, unless there's been some information put out there and we already know what's going on, and behind the scenes everybody knows something's been agreed to and something's coming down the pike and ain't nobody saying nothing. Unless we know that, outside of speculation, what would stand in the way of this fight happening? Because if Loma was with Top Rank and that those talks were being had, and if Shakur would have stayed, that talk would have had to been had, but he was free, so I don't know how that talk went down. I don't know how. I just know they just say that Tank and them reached out. I don't know. I still got to confirm some stuff, but. And then next thing you know, Shakur went elsewhere. I'm like, okay, so that leaves me with somebody that me personally, I want to see this fight. Like me, I want to see this fight. As a fan, I want to see this fight. I don't care if you don't. I want to see this fight. Out of all them fights, out of T.O. moving up and trying to chase Bud, trying to chase Boots and all this stuff, out of all that, or Keyshawn trying to get T.O. at this and that, out of all of that, this fight between him and Tank right now, you can't say they're not in their prime. You can't say that it needs, what else need to be built up? If you heard some of the things that T.O. said, if you heard some of the things that came out of his mouth about Tank, if you heard some of the things that T.O. been saying just about, you know, a certain demographic and how they've been acting here lately. And if you a Tank fan, you like, shit, man, hey, He said, what did he say? You support me, I'll fight for you. Like that's me personally. I want him. This is what I want. I want two of them guys, two one-of-ones to get in the ring and make it happen. You know what I'm saying? If I don't want to spend all day, every day arguing as to whether or not Shakur just ducked, whether or not Tank should have sent, him a bed of roses and, some edible arrangements and, some chocolate covered strawberries. Like, I don't want to argue about that. Like, it's over for me. Like, the Shakur, he chose to go fight a dude over there with Matchroom in hopes that he gonna get Zepeda with Oscar De La Hoya. He out there on a wishing on a star. That's over. That's over. Loma said, hey, I'm unless they're gonna pop back out, and say, all right, yep, Loma was just building. Loma said, why not? Sure, why not? Unless that happens, and Loma circles back like Liam Paro did, when we thought we had a Liam Paro and a Matias, and then we didn't have it, and then they circled back and said we did. Unless Loma is doing that now in this situation, why can't we have this fight? Why can't we get Tank and Tio? If you want to sit and argue about a conversation as to why it should be Shakur and Tank right now, or why any of them arguments other than the options that are on the table, all of which are not saying this man's name, I don't got time to argue about stuff like that. I want to know, can we get this fight? It's time. They in their prime. I remember Floyd said it. He said, man, that's the fight. You know what I'm saying? I've been saying it for a while now. It's an interesting fight. It's the only fight that really makes sense. This is legacy. This is money. This is, you know what I'm saying? This is everything that we need. So can we get, anybody got anything to say about that? What do you think about that? We can't get this fight? Is that being unrealistic? Somebody let me know. Let me know. But it's out there, man. The link is out there, man. If you want to express yourself, man, here's your opportunity. It's your opportunity, man. But we gotta have an objective. We gotta be going somewhere. You're not gonna gaslight me, hit me with a whole bunch of serious shit, and when I start digging in your shit, you be like, I'm just joking. Nah, man. We can joke if we gonna sit around with shits and giggles. Okay, cool. But don't gaslight me, man. Eddie is starting to look like a snake. Starting? I mean, it's bittersweet, and you gotta understand, James. You gotta understand, James, that how can I put it? You gotta understand that these guys, man, like, people, when they talk about it, they bipolar. They can't be objective, right? Like let's look at Eddie as you got to look at him as you got to kind of look at him as a promoter and a matchmaker. As far as promotion, A++++++. As far as matchmaking in the moves, like, so matchmaking, that's when you start thinking about, now I know he don't get tagged with it. You see what I'm saying? So you get it. You get it. He's a smooth talker for sure. So you get it. So that's what I'm saying. He got to be looked at in one breath as a promoter. As far as promoter, I always say he's the happy medium between the unstreamed, the unseen extreme. Like when you're dealing with, you know what I'm saying, that Kaiser Sose of the PBC, the extreme unseen, Kaiser Sose of the PBC. That's the extreme. And then you got you don't know what you're going to get in front of the camera. You know what I'm saying? Your promoter might be shown dancing, you know what I'm saying, in a bikini with his, you know what I'm saying, with his jewels. when his, you know what I'm saying, with his jewels in a bikini. I always say that Eddie is the perfect medium, like where he talks, he got the charisma, he can. I see it was a content creator, man. She was the second half of a show. She said, man, if Eddie Hearn boxed up a present and it was full of shit and he put a bow on it, he could hand it to you and she would be like, oh, thank you, Eddie. Like, she said that. She said that. And I said, dang, she said it. I'm just the messenger. So I look at him in one breath as a promoter, but then I look at some of the matchmakings and the timing and how this person got with you, they believed in you. You sent them over there. How did that pan out? Did it pan out good or bad? We went over to Andre. We're looking at Richardson Hitchens. I mean, and then, you know, the next move, the move that I'm hearing about for Richardson Hitchens. Let me see if anything popped out for that. Richardson Hitchens, he got a couple names, but he didn't get his Montana love. Let's see, is Rich, what Rich got going, if it's up here yet? Nope. It's still not even updated yet. So how would we judge this? How would we judge this, y'all? How would we judge this? So he moved, and it was a big ordeal. I know I talked about it. Matchroom's latest signing when it was Richardson Hitchens. Let's look at it. He got Bowser, John Bowser, which was good. 17-0, that was good. I would say, because Bowser was a name. Bowser had a name. Bowser had a little, you know what I'm saying? He had a little buzz. He had, you know, people knew who he was. And he was undefeated. That was good. Sean Jose Zepeda. 37-3. He was a veteran. An excellent name. Excellent name. Excellent name. And then Gustavo Lemos. And if you judging by that fight and how that fight went, judging by how that fight went with Gustavo Lemos, you would say that he been kind of matched. Like this ain't Murderer's Row, but this is not. These are, you know, these are decent guys. Look, 17-0, 37-3, 29-0, and Gustavo Lemos, I call him Pitbull Cruz with bells and whistles. So the way that went, he ain't been matched. You know, he looked good against John Bowser. He looked good against Zepeda. And you know, he was in a tough match under the IBF rehydration with Gustavo Lemos. And they still don't have nothing listed for Gustavo Lemos because people were making speculations about Gustavo Lemos and who he was gonna fight next. It ain't been updated right here yet. So how do we feel? How do we feel about that? How do we feel about that? We got to look at the moves, man. We got to look at these guys and how they were matched. Because I could do the same thing for Ammo Williams. We can do the same thing for Andy Cruz. You know, we got to start judging, man. We got to start judging Eddie as a promoter and a matchmaker along with the strategy that he's using. We got to start being vigilant. Don't just be out here doing the memorization and regurgitation, man. Rote memory. The word is Keyshawn versus Lemos. That's a scrap. That's why I said, okay, Keyshawn. Okay. Like that's brick. That's putting another brick on the foundation. And he doing it at home. That's a very dangerous fight for Keyshawn. That's a very dangerous fight for Keyshawn. That's a very dangerous fight. And I know that sometimes, man, when you be at home, them lights be so bright and you be the exerted energy because you're so excited and you want to show out. Man, I hope he do, because Regis had an issue. Matias had an issue. We gonna see. We're gonna see. Devin did his thing against Regis at home. But sometimes being at home, you know, it can be added pressure, especially for a guy like that playing with all the marbles. You know, he don't have nothing to lose. It's almost like the dude Joe Cordina. Joe Cordina said, "Hey, I don't have nothing to lose going into this to this Shakur fight." He was like, "Look," he said he's probably licking his chops, saying I'm not this and that. And I'm like, yeah. Shakur is actually licking his chops. Joe Cordina like, I don't have nothing to lose. It's on him to make me look bad. It's on him to do whatever. They probably saying they're gonna knock me out. He's gonna do this and this and that. I'm like, it could be a trap fight, especially if he know you ain't going to engage. You don't want to be touched. Like you want to be. That could be a trap fight. We gotta wait and see, but we gotta at least start keeping a track record of Eddie and these moves and what he's doing and how he's doing it. You know, and right now, man, we got Boots. Boots and them is on the scale, man. He on the scale with Boots right now, man, as far as these judgment, because we want to see that Brian Norman, man. Teofimo wouldn't take a flight with Lemos, and Keyshawn wants the smoke. Teofimo wouldn't take a fight with Lemos, and Keyshawn wants to smoke. Okay. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like T.O., he kind of, you know, I think he be false flagging sometimes, man. I think T.O. be putting out smoke signals there, man. But I don't think that he be with it, man. I think he be out here bluffing a little bit, man. I think T.O. be bluffing, man. I think T.O., man, like, he's starting to be good at agitating. And I'm like, yeah, but, you know, it's like you could be good at agitating. You got that part down where you know how to get under somebody's skin. The only thing is you got to get the whole thing down to where every time there's a level of consistency in your performance, because you could be lights out one time and then like, I've had better the next. So I think you might be on to something, man. T.O. might be out here putting out smoke signals. He don't be really wanting it, or he get real close to it happening. He like, you know what? Nah, we'll wait. Cause you gotta ask yourself, man, why haven't they blown T.O. up to where he should be by now? Why are they matchmaking him the way, or allowing him to matchmake himself, however it works, the way he's making it? Why? Because they're going off as long as I can yell out and scream out the biggest and baddest name above me and act like I'm in pursuit of that, there is no accountability for the choice that I make then. So if I'm saying I want Boots next, I want Boots or I want Bud next, there is no accountability for Steve Claggett when I ultimately, like, look, you know I want Boots, you know I want Bud, but you fought Steve Claggett. I know, but I want Boots and Bud. Don't knock me. I gotta stay busy. Remember what I told y'all, the whole stay busy thing was. Stay busy. I'm going to tell y'all what that's code word for. In today's day and time in the sport. When you hear somebody say, I'm going to take this to stay busy, this is what it's called. It's called load management. And Eddie is teaching us that. Like when you hear somebody say, oh, I'm just staying busy, I'm going to take me a little stay busy. Okay, that's load management. That's what it is. So we don't, unless pound for pound are setting up fights in between to make a pound for pound type deal. Like you can argue Tank and T.O. You can argue that's a pound for pound fight. You can argue that's a pound for pound fight. They moved up. They've been in they shared the same division before. They moved, you know what I'm saying? That's a pound for pound fight. So yeah, if you like when like the time when Tank and Brian knew they was gonna get it on, and they agreed that Tank said, all right, well, cool, I'm gonna fight Hector, and then Ryan had somebody, it might have been Duarte before, I don't know who it was. I know he fought him after. I know he fought Duarte after, but it might have been a Duarte, but he said he didn't want anything to get in the way of that fight, so he didn't do it. That's the only way you can really, be saying, all right, I'm going to take this stay busy. And the other person is taking their stay busy. And then y'all meet. Or unless the other person say, you know what, I ain't going to take no stay busy. I'm just that raw. Well, I'm just going to get right back in there, which I don't, that's the only time. If you're not doing that, stay busy means either you lowballing people. You lowballing people. Meaning you're making offers to be able to say you just made an offer. Or you're practicing the equivalent in boxing called load management. It's the equivalent of when people had that outrage when they found out that the NBA wouldn't play available players, because fans were actually getting upset that when that basketball player came to their arena, they wasn't able to see him, and he was on a load management. He was on a load management. So you're not gonna get to see him tonight. He's not gonna be able to go off. You're not gonna be able to see Gilbert tonight. You know what I'm saying? We resting him. That's the equivalent in boxing, even though it could backfire. Because you might be looking at a guy like a stay busy, and you know, that guy looking at you like a new lease on life, meaning like a get back, like meaning if I can put your name up in lights, if I could knock you on your ass bag, you know what I'm saying? If I could just make it rough enough, if I could bust your shit, you know what I'm saying? Put a knot on your eye, like, you know what I'm saying? Knock a tooth out. Like that's how they are. Like, and I think that we forget that across over there, they actually, you know, they tend to get a little rougher. They tend to get a little rough in there, you know what I'm saying? And for a guy, if you like a clean pocket, you want to just be pure box and just move and bob and weave, and you don't really want to mix it up. You don't really want to like get rough. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you decide to make it that way and just make you look bad, just make you second guess yourself a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, hit you in the head a couple times. You know, hit you with a couple low blows. Like, if he could just chip away at you, that's something that's getting in the way. Unless you go in there and handle it, make the adjustment and get rid of him, it's something that could derail you off of you getting a fight that we should have had. Because I think that's what happened with the Devin and Ryan situation. Can't tell me otherwise. That was just letting you know that Devin was not supposed to go down that Ryan path. You were supposed to make Ryan go and be disciplined and do what he needed to do and work his way into actually getting a meaningful fight with somebody that was, you know, playing games right along with him. Like a Ryan and a Blair Cobb, that would have been, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know what you're going to get. You should have let Ryan go and play in the sandbox by himself, but you wanted to go play too. And look at what happened. You know, these fights when boxing, in the sport of boxing, the people that really know and that's been watching and following the sport are encouraging you, and you already know it's a given. It's pretty much understood. I shouldn't have to really explain this. When that happens, right, and they're pushing for you to get a certain fight, and then you go do something else, you might as well say Murphy's Law, man, because if something bad can happen, it will. Or at least you gotta train like that. You gotta think like that. You gotta move like that. You gotta focus like that, because load management can turn real bad, man. When you think you cherry picking, it can turn real bad. When you thinking you going up against a C-level fighter and you levels above, and you really not, it could backfire. So, I hope you gain something from this conversation, man. I hope you gain something from this conversation. I hope you can walk away just sometimes just thinking about, man, what did we be arguing about, man? Like, what the fuck did we be arguing about online, man? Like, why do we get in front of these fights, man? Like, why do you have fans in comment section arguing and telling somebody what they should and shouldn't get down to the dollar sign? I'm like, man, when did that become our job? Once we realized that the team reached out and they started doing business, that's where we should be off. I don't know. I use the numbers for numbers' sake, but my specialty is seeing what these dudes do inside the ring, man, and how we can actually get the fight, man, and to try to maintain some kind of integrity in the sport. You know, at least as far as around the conversation and what's going on, man, because it's starting to get real crazy, man, with politics, man. Politics is starting to really play a part, man, in who got these belts, man. We have seen we've seen a Virgil Ortiz and Bo and Boachuk, where the champion lost his belt to Virgil Ortiz, who he knocked Virgil Ortiz down twice. We saw that. We saw Shockey Foster like put on a defensive claim. Shockey Foster pulled a Shakur Stevenson on Robson Conceição, and they took his strap. And that's probably to set up a fight between Conceição and Oscar Valdez. Why? Because they messed it up the first time when they allowed Conceição to get robbed by Valdez. Don't let these fans who you in the same tribe with try to act like these things didn't happen, man. We seeing it, man. And as long as we they say in order for evil to prevail, all it takes is for grown men to remain silent. Or good men to remain silent, not grown. Good men. But yeah, if you a good man, then you want some grown shit. So I was right, but I was wrong. Don't let people drive you. Don't let people drive you into thinking that you gotta be down and you gotta just go along with the flow. It's like, nah, man, say something about it. Why? Because we're starting to hear this more and more here lately. But it's okay because I got it. I know when I said it. I know when I said it on my channel, I was saying, man, we gotta be careful about these guys, man. I was like, man, you gotta be careful because these guys, when you looking at these guys and you talking about the major players. When you talking about these major players, they're setting precedents. I say be careful because they're setting precedents, meaning that people behind them are going to look and see what they're doing, and they're going to start following suit. Is that going to cater to what you and I want as the fan, as the boxing fan? Does that do it? What does that do for us? Does that benefit us? Yeah or nay? And look what's happening, man. You're getting a lot of like behaviors, habitual behaviors, like things. It's starting to be a whole lot of trends going on. And at the end of the day, the magic question is it leading us to get the big fights? The answer is no. So it's whatever you add into the conversation, whatever you bringing, whatever you hopping, or whatever you trying to argue about, or whatever, is that helping? If at the end of the day it's not helping us get the big fights, why are you spending so much time harping on it? Why do you care so much? Why do you cape so much? Why do you cap so much? It's not going to help us get the big fights. All you trying to do is just spread your misery on over to somebody else because you pissed off. You frustrated. It's not going to help us get the big fights. That's the measuring stick. Ask yourself before you respond to somebody and be all crazy or say something crazy. It's like, ask yourself, is this gonna help us get the big fights? No. Okay. But we need a little spiciness. We need just a little bit. But I think people have their only way, I guess it'll be the equivalent of this. Like, I guess in the bedroom, right? This would be the equivalent of if you and your lady in the bedroom, like the way boxing needs spice. And when I say that, people would think that it should involve like a whole bunch of you can't fuck with me and I'll beat you and I like, we think that is equate to spicy. So the equivalent would be to where you think that when you get in the bedroom, if you said you need to spice it up and all it'll be is just talking dirty. Like, that's talking dirty. Talking dirty, man. That's not the kind of spice boxing. Like, yeah, we all can talk dirty, man. Boxers can talk dirty. Like, how grimy and sleazy. Like, think about some of my favorite fighters, how they talk, how greasy and grimy and crazy they be talking before the fight. How greasy and grimy they be talking all during the fight. And then when, you know, at the end of the fight, you know, their opponent look like they could go out to the club. So, I mean, I think sometimes, man, I know I guess if you have a woman that's anything like mine, just talking dirty, that ain't really gonna do nothing. That ain't gonna really do nothing for us. But we got a lot of people that like talking dirty, man. That's like mild. That's mild when it comes down to it, man. You gotta do more than just talk dirty, baby. You know what I'm saying? Hey, shit. How old? let me keep this train on the tracks. But that's not what boxing needs. Boxing don't need a bunch of people just running around talking dirty, man. You know what I'm saying? That's not the kind of spice we need. That, like, for one, if that's the extent of it, then we need you got to do way more than that. You know what I'm saying? You got to do way more than that, man. Just something to think about, man. I had some time and I said, you know, normally when I be doing my normal time, I see people, they've been liking the setup right in the time when I do it, or I can't catch certain people when they live if I go live at that time. So I alter it or I listen, because you ain't just gonna tell me any old goddamn thing. I'm gonna do my homework. I'm gonna do my research. I'm gonna listen to what you gotta say. I'm gonna look at this. I'm gonna do that. I got to hold it up to the light, man. A lot of y'all, man, y'all just go, man. A lot of people just take stuff and just run with it, man. Next thing you know, it's the gospel, man. You know how dangerous that is, man. You know how dangerous that is, man. If you just taking what everybody else say. You're not holding it up to the light. You're not doing no research. You're not verifying what they say. You just like, yep, he is right. I be seeing people up there, people be out there online, man. They just be talking, man. They be up there talking, man. They might bring up, yeah, when such and such fought such and such, and then somebody be like, hold on, man, they never fought. They be like, oh, they didn't. Like, yeah, man. So who was you? What fight was you talking about? Oh, I just thought that, yeah. But everything that they say, you rock with them because you like the personality. I feel you, man. But that's not gonna get us the big fights, man. You know what I'm saying? That's not gonna get us the big fights, man. I'm one of them people where I'm like, man, don't talk my head off. Show me. But I thought I'd put something out there, man. I thought I'd echo with my man. I seen the video. I felt the frustration. I'm like, that's how I've been feeling. Keep saying that. Keep pushing that message, brother. I support that message. I endorse that message, Zeb. Like, yeah, man. Like, let's stop getting in the way of the fights, man. I agree. We all need to be lock in step with that. Expressing that. Don't get in the way. Don't present obstacles. Be part of the solution. But I put the link out there. I thought somebody was gonna click it. I put the link out there. I thought somebody was going to click it. Let's do away with this, man. We don't need no more of this, man. We don't need let's put an end to sausage party boxing talk, man. You don't want to be somewhere stuck just sword fighting, man. It's no fun, man. It's no fun, man. Let's be real. So we can get the big fights. Oh my goodness. So that's it. That's all, man. I wanted to put something on your mind. I'm gonna go. I don't know what I might do, man. I might watch. I might be on YouTube looking up some things, trying to figure out, doing some catching up because I wasn't watching the workouts. I know it's a bunch of chaos and turmoil going on, and people creating their narratives and figuring out how they're gonna spin it and what they're gonna say, and other people are already waiting to do something to counteract this, and other people are like bird dogging other people and coming out with information. It's just it's a jungle. It's a jungle out there, man. It's a jungle out here. But I thanks everybody who came through and said what's up to your boy. Everybody who contributed in the comment section. I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? Just for tapping in. And if you hear this on the playback, let me know what you think. Talk to me. I'll talk back. This is Fruits and Veggies. Not that Reggie. You know, if you haven't seen it, I did one on Who's Your Daddy with Sugar Sheik. I did one on, the lab test coming back and what should be the next move. I did another one on did Pro Box save boxing? I mean, did Pro Box really get boxing or stamp its claim in the boxing to actually maintain some level of sustainability? Unlike a lot of things that look like smoke and mirrors, but I asked that question and presented materials and evidence as to how they did. I think that was like on the low though. I think that was one of my best pieces. Why? Because it means something to the sport. It means something, man. But support the channel if you can. Share the video, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm back in full effect. You know how we do. We be asking people to keep the same energy. Don't change. I'm not. I can't. We be doing that body work. You know what I'm saying? But I might, depending on how I feel, I'm a night owl. I might go live again later, or I might get back into doing my videos or whatever. I got some things where I'm actually going to do some videos about some things coming up that's really on my mind. So I'll be rolling out my regular videos, and I'll continue doing live. But the lives, the cult and how boxing flip flops and how crazy it gets on a day, like in the morning it's one thing, in the middle of the day it's another thing, in the evening it's another thing. By the way that boxing is going in that direction or whatever, the lives allow me to be able to tackle a lot of the current events and still have and sprinkle my flavor on it and show you what I'm getting, out of it. So that's probably more equipped right now, because a lot of people, man, they'll look at the videos, you know what I'm saying, they'll watch them or whatever, but a lot of them guys are just really like using it to flip into their own little thing. So in the lives is where you'll hear me pretty much addressing like a lot of things that's going on currently in the sport. I'm gonna get back to doing my regular videos though. And I'll be probably a little bit more spontaneous when the lives go, just to mix it up so people won't be trying to hamstring me. You know what I'm saying? Going live the same time I'm going live. It's weird out here. If you make content and you do your thing, you already know how it is, man. It's so much weird energy. I just want to see the big fights. We don't take things for face value. We do body work. We analyze, we assess, we try to contribute to the sport. We try to add to it. We try to make sense of it. We want all the boxers to be successful because at the end of the day, they get hit in the head for a living. You know what I'm saying? But we are going to keep them accountable when we think that they taking our money and we're not getting our money's worth. There's some people in boxing that believe that, and there are some boxing fans that believe in violent boxing. Like when we see boxing, we expect to see violence. We see it everywhere else. We want to see it in the ring too. And we want to see the best get it on in the ring. We want to see the elite. We want to see the names. We want to see, you know, them guys in that ring. But I ain't gonna hold y'all, man. Thanks for choosing Bodywork Boxing. But we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.
He didn't want to box. He wanted to actually prove that he could punch with you. He was like, what the fuck is this nigga, right? Oh, okay, you want to go to sleep. You tired.
Welcome to Bodywork.